The text message arrived at 10:47 p.m. on the day that should have been the most important day of our year. I stood in the living room of the apartment we had shared for the past 3 years, the place where we had painted the walls a soft cream mixed with soothing jade green, the place where we had hung our wedding photos just a year ago. In my hand was the cake box from the bakery, the custom-made anniversary cake, vanilla with raspberry filling, Lou Ruyan's favorite. The message on the screen wasn't from Lou Ruyan but a photo someone had tagged her in. In the picture, she was laughing, head tilted back, raising a glass of champagne at a party I had never heard of. The caption read, "Best night ever. Celebrating Yi Tingsheng's promotion, can't miss it." I carefully placed the cake box onto the kitchen counter. The apartment was already decorated, candles were neatly set in holders. The playlist from our wedding reception was ready to play on the speakers. And the reservation confirmation for 8 p.m. at Malalu restaurant, where I had proposed to her, was still glowing on my phone screen. Dinner was booked for 8 p.m., and now it was nearly 11 p.m. She hadn't called or texted. The last message I received was at noon, "Insanely busy today, might be home a little late." Then nothing. Just silence. Until those photos appeared. Lou Ruyan in a black dress I had never seen, standing close to Yi Tingsheng, who had a smile that was too familiar, too natural. While the world continued to turn, our anniversary had passed, leaving no trace in her memory. I switched on all the lights in the apartment, wanting to see everything clearly. The anniversary card I had written that morning still lay on the dining table, unopened in its envelope. Inside, I wrote about my gratitude, about the life we were building together, about how loving her made me believe in forever. I picked up the envelope and placed it in the cake box, next to the anniversary cake. Then I opened my phone and scrolled through my contacts. The name lawyer Li Ming appeared after 3 scrolls. We had worked together last year when I was involved in a contract dispute at my company. I typed a single line, "Need to discuss filing for divorce. Are you free tomorrow morning?" Then I pressed send before I could hesitate. The photos continued to pop up in my feed. Lou Ruyan sitting among strangers at a banquet table. Lou Ruyan clinking glasses with Yi Tingsheng, his hand resting casually on the back of her chair. Lou Ruyan smiling brightly, spinning in the crowd, looking carefree and beautiful, completely immersed in a party that had nothing to do with us. Every photo that appeared was heartbreakingly sharp. I looked at them like someone re-examining a crime scene, trying to find the exact moment when everything cracked. Trying to identify the first fracture point of a love that was once meant to last forever. We met on an autumn day as beautiful as a movie scene. At that time, I, Chi Boda, was an apprentice architect at a downtown firm. Every evening I sat and sketched the buildings I hoped would one day be constructed. She, 24, had just graduated with a master's in marketing, her eyes sparkling whenever she spoke of her ambitions. We met at an art exhibition opening. Actually, neither of us wanted to go. I was dragged along because my university roommate's sister had a piece displayed there, and she was ordered to go by her boss to network. The kind of thing people say is crucial for young people trying to pretend they understand abstract art. "Do you actually understand what this piece is saying?" she asked. She stood next to me as I stared at a painting that looked like someone had just splashed paint randomly onto the canvas. "I'm trying to pretend I do," I replied, struggling to keep a straight face, but failing miserably. She burst out laughing, a natural, unguarded laugh. "I'm Lou Ruyan." We talked for over an hour, completely forgetting that we were still at an art exhibition. Instead of discussing the paintings, we talked about real things. She spoke of the anxiety of her new job. I spoke of the frustration of designing drab warehouses when I dreamt of creating houses with souls. We both talked about trying to become the adults we imagined as children. When the gallery closed, we walked together to a small diner and ordered midnight breakfast. She talked about her childhood in Oregon, her elementary school teacher mother, and her dream of living somewhere where everything was just beginning. I talked about my father, who ran a construction company, about learning to read blueprints before children's books, about the satisfying feeling of watching a structure form from nothing. "You make building a house sound romantic," she said, laughing as she subtly snagged a piece of bacon from my plate. And perhaps at that very moment, I fell in love with her. "Those things," I replied when she asked me what I believed in, "are the promise that this structure will stand firm, that this place will become a shelter, and that this design will endure." She looked at me, with a look that I would later understand was the start of love itself. "I like promises like that," she said softly. Our relationship developed as naturally as the change of seasons. Sunday mornings gradually became our private ritual. Coffee, the newspaper, and her feet nestled under mine on the sofa. She read the headlines aloud while I busied myself sketching. I cooked dinner on the nights she had to work late, leaving warm food for her in the oven. When she landed her first major client at the marketing firm, I bought a bottle of champagne, and we sat together on the balcony of the apartment. We watched the city lights blend together like sparkling star streaks. When my design for a community center was approved for construction, she burst into tears and told all her friends that her boyfriend was about to change the city's skyline. "We're so good at this," she whispered one night, her head resting on my chest. "Good at being ourselves." I proposed to Lou Ryan on a spring evening at Malolu, the Italian restaurant we had called our place after only 6 months of dating. I arranged with the staff to bring out her favorite dessert, panna cotta, with the engagement ring placed right on top. When she saw it, she immediately covered her mouth, tears streaming down before I could even speak. She said yes before I could finish asking. She said yes gently, naturally, as if it were the easiest answer of her life. The wedding took place the following October, exactly 2 years from the day we met. A small, elegant ceremony with only about 50 guests. The wedding was held in a sun-drenched garden, where we read the vows we had written ourselves. She promised to choose me every day. I promised to build a life worth living with her. Afterward, we danced in the ballroom as "The Way You Look Tonight" played. Her mother cried, and my father smiled. When everything ended, she rested her forehead against mine and whispered, "This is the happiest moment of my life." And I believed her. God, I believed every word she said. The distance began to arrive very slowly, so much so that at first, I barely noticed. There was no tragedy, no clear shattering moment, just a sequence of small absences, silent withdrawals that gradually accumulated into something undeniable. It started about 4 months after we got married. Lou Ryan's company secured a major contract with a newly emerging tech company. More money meant less reason, and their boss demanded attention almost day and night. His name is Tung, in his early 30s. Tung thinks the team should try a guerrilla marketing campaign, she said during dinner. Tung invited the whole team out to eat to discuss ideas. That name began to appear more often. Dinners stretched late, weekend work became normal. I understood her job was important, and this project could be a huge career advancement. I wasn't the type of husband who demanded my wife dedicate all her time to me. I also worked late, dedicating hours to a new housing project where I could finally design with emotion and creativity, not just function and structure. But then there were changes that were no longer simply work but a shift in priorities. She started checking her phone during dinner. Her true laugh, the first laugh I had ever heard at the exhibition, slowly disappeared when it was just the two of us but resonated during the calls she had with colleagues. She started mentioning Tung more often, even about things unrelated to work, his taste in restaurants, his views on city planning, the books and movies he recommended. "You'd really like Tung," she once said. "He has a great appreciation for design. He just bought a beautiful, modern-style house in the West Side." "Sounds impressive," I replied, trying to keep my voice even. "Maybe the three of us, you, me, and him, should go out for dinner sometime?" That dinner never happened, but the mentions of him grew more frequent. And with them, the distance between Lou Ryan and me slowly lengthened. She no longer instinctively held my hand when we watched a movie. She began staying up late, working on her laptop in the living room instead of coming to bed with me. When I wrapped my arms around her from behind while she was cooking, she would lean into me for a moment, just a fleeting second, then gently remove my hands, saying, "Let me concentrate, or it will burn." Intimacy became scheduled, no longer spontaneous or passionate. Those impulsive moments during the day, the lazy Sunday mornings curled up together, all vanished. Now, it only happened late at night when both of us were exhausted, maintained more out of habit than genuine desire. And after each time, she would turn her back to me, quickly retreating to her side of the bed. She was usually almost asleep or reaching for her phone to check one last email. One evening, I tried to open up. Lately, I feel like you're somewhere far away. Even when you're physically here. I'm just stressed, she replied, her eyes still glued to the screen. This project is about to launch. When it's over, everything will be better. But things didn't get better. Lou Ruyan's project launch was a huge success. It was celebrated with a party that I was also invited to, but I couldn't attend because I had a presentation with a client. She went alone, coming home at 2 a.m., smelling faintly of champagne, laughing that everyone had so much fun they lost track of time. She fell asleep on the sofa, still wearing her evening gown, and I silently draped a blanket over her, going to bed alone, clearly sensing the shape of something changing, though I couldn't yet name it. 3 weeks before our anniversary, I happened to overhear a phone call. She was in the bedroom, thinking I was showering, but her voice carried clearly through the apartment wall. I know, she said, her voice a soft laugh. You're so funny. A pause. No, he won't notice. He never notices anything. Another pause, longer this time. Because he trusts me, Lee-Chung. And he should, we're just friends. But the way she said the word, friends, sounded more like she was trying to convince herself than me. I stood outside the bedroom door, the water still running in the bathroom so she wouldn't find out, and felt something cold creep into my chest. Not anger, not yet, but realization. The kind of realization that hits when you are forced to confront the signs you intentionally ignored. Because acknowledging them also means accepting that your life is about to change forever. 2 weeks before the anniversary, she forgot her wedding ring when she went to work. She took it off to apply lotion and left it on the bathroom shelf. That afternoon, I brought it to her company during her break. When I walked in, a few of her colleagues looked surprised. Lou Ruyan is married? One person asked. I didn't know that. We've been married for almost a year, I replied, watching Lou Ruyan's face flush as she took the ring from my hand. She never mentioned you, the colleague added. And Lou Ruyan laughed, saying she liked to keep her work and personal life separate. But her eyes avoided mine. In the days leading up to the anniversary, I meticulously prepared everything, booking a table at Malulu, ordering the custom cake, buying a delicate gold necklace with a house-shaped pendant, symbolizing the home we were building together. I even took the afternoon off to clean the apartment, set up the candles, and decorate. That morning, I texted, I'm looking forward to tonight. Happy anniversary. Love you. She only replied with a heart emoji, nothing else. Then came the hours of silence, followed by those party photos. The moment the realization hit me, starkly and cruelly, I had become the secondary choice in my wife's life. That her promise to choose me every day turned out to have an expiry date, one I hadn't been warned about. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room with all the lights on, the cake box on the table in front of me, watching the sky change color from black to deep blue, then to pale gray. Lou Ruyan came home at 3:17 a.m. I heard the key turn in the lock, the sound of her heels clicking on the hardwood floor, and a small, surprised gasp when she saw me sitting there waiting. Chi Boda. Her voice was hoarse with tiredness, and the smell of champagne still clung to her. You haven't slept yet? It's our anniversary, I said softly. I saw the moment of realization dawn in her eyes, her hand immediately flying up to cover her mouth, her eyes wide, her handbag slipping from her grasp, hitting the floor with a heavy thud. Oh God, she stammered. Chi Boda. I forgot. I'll finish the rest for you, I said. You forgot our first anniversary, all for his party. It wasn't like that, she protested, her voice cracking. It was a company party. Lee-Chung got promoted, everyone had to be there. Everyone had to be there, I repeated, my voice dropping, as if tasting each word, bitter and sharp. But at the very least, you could have made a call or sent a text, just 5 minutes, to say you wouldn't make it. She took a step towards me, and I stood up. When she was just a few steps away, Lou Ruyan stopped. I'm sorry, she said. Her voice was trembling. I got caught up. Time flew by so fast. I didn't think. Exactly, I cut her off. The problem is you didn't think. You didn't think of me, you didn't think of us, and you didn't think of what today meant. I gestured around the apartment, at the candles, the set dining table, the cake on the counter. I waited, I said softly. I truly waited, believing you would come home, that maybe you were just running late, that my wife would never forget our anniversary, the day we promised to build a life together. Tears began to stream down her cheeks, but this time, they left me feeling only emptiness. Please, she whispered, her voice choked with sobs. Give me a chance to make it up to you. We can celebrate tomorrow night or this weekend. I called a divorce lawyer this morning, I stated. The words fell into the space between us, heavy as stones sinking into a still lake. She froze, her mouth still slightly open, unable to finish her plea. You, what? I called a lawyer. We have an appointment at 9 a.m. tomorrow to discuss filing the petition. Chiboda, no way, you can't be serious, just because of one small mistake, just because of one forgotten dinner. It's not just one dinner, I countered, my voice strangely calm, even surprising myself. I expected to yell, to break down, but instead, I saw everything clearly, cold and resolute. This is about months. Months when you chose him over me. Months when Itingcheng's opinion mattered more than my words. You laughed with him, but with me, there were only forced smiles. You stayed up late for his events but cancelled our plans. You took off your wedding ring, and your colleagues didn't even know you were married. You were at his party tonight, wearing a dress I've never seen, while our anniversary cake is still untouched on the kitchen counter. That's not fair, she blurted out, her voice breaking. Not fair? I looked straight at her. What's not fair is that I had to compete for my own wife's attention, and lost. What's not fair is that I still remember exactly how you like your coffee, which song makes you cry, and which side of the bed you prefer, yet you forgot our wedding anniversary. I picked up the cake box from the table. I'm going to my brother's place tonight. You will receive the divorce papers this week. I will behave honorably, dividing the assets fairly. Then, both of us will be free to prioritize the thing, or the person, we truly want. Please, Chiboda, don't do this. She burst into tears, lunging forward, her hand trembling as it grasped at the air between us. I'm sorry, I love you, I truly do. I just made one mistake. I looked at her, truly looked at the woman I had once proposed to, the one I had promised to spend my life with. But there was no longer any anger in me, only a sad clarity. You love the idea of me, I said slowly. You love having an understanding husband who doesn't complain when you work late, who trusts you without questioning. But you didn't love me enough to remember our anniversary. Didn't love me enough to mention me in front of your colleagues. Didn't love me enough to put down your phone during meals. And for me, that's no longer enough. I walked past her, still holding the cake box. She tried to reach out to stop me, but I stepped away. Where are you going with that? She asked. Her voice was choked. Where do you think? I replied, opening the door and looking back at her one last time. To Itingcheng's promotion party. If it was important enough for you to miss tonight, it must be quite a party. I just thought I should bring your anniversary gift right to them, so everyone can see what you chose instead of us. Chiboda, please don't do that, she cried. But I was already walking away, closing the door, cutting off her sobs along with the apartment we once shared. Along with a marriage that had died a long time ago, a fact I had only just allowed myself to see. The party was held in the ballroom of a large downtown hotel, the kind of glamorous venue where power and money are flaunted. I easily found the location in the lobby, indicated by a sign directing guests to Itingcheng's promotion celebration. Even the directional sign was unreasonably ostentatious. I walked in, still wearing the shirt and slacks I had chosen for our anniversary dinner. In my hand was the cake box from the bakery, looking perhaps a bit unhinged. A few people glanced at me curiously, but most didn't pay much attention, too absorbed in their champagne and laughter. And then I saw him. Itingcheng stood right in the center of the room. Naturally. Itingcheng in an expensive suit, with a practiced smile and confident demeanor, standing among admiring crowds like a king at his own ball. As I approached, his expression froze for a moment, first surprise, then recognition of who I was, and then a fleeting look of something resembling guilt, if he was truly capable of feeling it. Can I help you? he asked, his voice still maintaining a friendly composure, but his eyes held a flicker of alertness. You are Yi Tingcheng, correct? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Yes, I am. I am Chi Boda, Lu Ruiyan's husband. I saw his face visibly pale. Congratulations on your promotion, I said evenly. It must be a huge achievement. Big enough to throw such a grand party, and important enough for my wife to forget our wedding anniversary to be here. The crowd around him fell silent. Someone pulled out a phone, perhaps already starting to film. I didn't care. Listen. Buddy, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not thinking, I interrupted. I know exactly what's happening. I lifted the cake box in my hand, tilting it slightly so he could see. On the cake, carefully decorated writing read, Happy Wedding Anniversary, Chi Boda and Lu Ruiyan. Today, or rather, yesterday now, was my first wedding anniversary. I prepared a special dinner, bought a cake, but Lu Ruiyan didn't come home. Do you know where she was? I gestured to the cake. Right here. At this party, celebrating your advancement, because apparently, celebrating your career was more important than honoring her marriage vows. No, I didn't know it was their anniversary, Yi Tingcheng stammered. She never said anything. She never said anything. I nodded, my voice lowering, because to her, you're more important than I am now. She's chosen you, your words, your time, your attention for months now. And tonight was just the final proof. I placed the cake box onto a nearby table. So here, I said, since this party was so important, you should take this anniversary cake, consider it a gift from me and my soon-to-be ex-wife. Enjoy yourself. I turned to leave, but Yi Tingcheng reached out and grabbed my arm. Wait, hear me out, there's nothing going on between us. We're just colleagues. I looked down at his hand on my arm, then looked straight into his face. Do you know what the saddest thing is? I said quietly, but every word was clear. I believe you. I don't think you two slept together, maybe you haven't even kissed. But what you did is worse. You became the person she thinks about, the person who makes her laugh, the person whose validation she seeks. You didn't steal my wife physically, you just made her forget why she ever wanted to be with me in the first place. And honestly, I paused, taking a deep breath, that hurts much more. I yanked my arm away, turned, and walked out of the ballroom, leaving behind the cake, the marriage, and the man who had inadvertently destroyed everything. All around, phones were raised, screens flashing incessantly, recording every second for the social media storm that was about to hit. What followed were days like living underwater, where everything became blurry, distant, and it took double the effort just to breathe. I moved into my younger brother's spare room temporarily, bringing 2 suitcases and a box of personal items. The divorce papers were filed, Lu Ruiyan hired a lawyer, and we began the process of dismantling our shared life, dividing assets atom by atom, carefully, coldly, and brokenly. She sent long, pleading texts, explaining there was nothing between her and Yi Tingcheng, that she just got caught up in work, that it was a terrible mistake, that she still loved me. I read them once and didn't reply. My lawyer advised against communication outside of official channels. I agreed. Not because I was still angry, the anger had quickly burned out, but because I had nothing left. I was empty, with nothing left to say. The video from the party went viral at an alarming speed. Of course, someone had posted it online with the title, Husband Shows Up at Party to Confront Wife Who Forgot Anniversary. It reached millions of views in just 48 hours. The comments were varied, from supportive, this man deserves better, to critical, public humiliation is unacceptable. Then there was the mixture of curiosity and judgment about whether Lu Ruiyan and Yi Tingcheng were actually involved. I deleted all my social media accounts, unplugged, and cut off all connection. I poured all my concentration into work, sticking to the hollow routine of a single life, wake up, go to work, come home, repeat. My younger brother tried to help me. Do you want to talk about it? He asked one morning as we sat having breakfast. Not really, I replied. You know you're allowed to fall apart a little bit, right? You don't always have to pretend you're fine. I'm not trying to hold myself together, I said. I'm just living one day at a time. Duwayan nodded, a sibling's nod, understanding without needing explanation. Regardless, I think you did the right thing. It doesn't feel right at all, I sighed. Just necessary. At work, I buried myself in projects with an intensity that started to worry my colleagues. I arrived early, left late, accepting every project assigned, a library renovation, a commercial residential complex, and even a villa for a couple celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. That project hurt, but I took it on. I designed for them a home that celebrated 5 decades of choosing each other every day. The irony of it was not lost on me. 3 months after filing, the divorce was officially finalized. No one was blamed, assets were divided 50-50ths. Everything was handled cleanly, as simply as a breakdown could be. I signed the papers on a Thursday afternoon in the lawyer's office. Lou Ruyan signed remotely. Throughout the process, we never met once. I moved into a small apartment in a different district of the city, just a studio, but it was mine. I bought new furniture, hung my own paintings, creating a space where not a single memory of us lingered in the walls. The first night there, I stood by the window, looked down at the unfamiliar street, and felt something shift slightly inside. Not happiness, but perhaps the possibility of it, distant, faint, but present. I started jogging every morning and took up woodworking in the evenings, building small items in the apartment complex's shared workshop. I visited my parents more often, enduring my mother's gaze. She deliberately avoided asking about the divorce, just silently piled food in front of me. I went to soccer games with my nephew and slowly relearned how to exist in this world as a single man, how to claim my own space again. Through mutual friends, I heard news about Lou Ruyan. She had quit her job. That viral video made the work environment suffocating and full of awkward glances. Yi Cheng also gradually distanced himself from her, both professionally and personally. It turned out that a colleague's marriage publicly falling apart at one's own party wasn't good for business reputation at all. She moved back to Oregon to live with her parents, trying to start over, away from the city where everything collapsed. When I heard this, I felt nothing, no glee, no pity. Just the acknowledgement that her life continued somewhere else, and my life continued here. 6 months after the divorce, my company won the bid for a major downtown project, a commercial and residential complex. Shops on the ground floor, apartments above. The project was expected to define the city's new skyline, a symbol of the fusion of aesthetics and function in modern architecture. It was the opportunity one had pursued my entire career. I poured myself into the design, drawing, modeling, editing for weeks on end. I wanted to create a structure that could stand the test of time, that could provide shelter for people, an eternal promise that beauty and durability could coexist. The project partners loved the design. Construction was approved. During that time, I met Song Jiayu, not at a bar or through a dating app, but at a building materials store. Both of us reached for the same package of fine grit sandpaper. "You take it," I said. Or, she smiled, "we could share the package." Compromise. Afterward, we went for coffee. Then dinner. Then an art exhibition opening she suggested. I chuckled, remembering the first exhibition of my life, where I met Lou Ruyan. But this time was completely different. Song Jiayu spoke about art with genuine passion, not just to fill the silence. She asked about my work and truly listened. When I told her I was recently divorced and still trying to navigate life, she just nodded without judgment. "Take your time," she said softly, "I'm not going anywhere." And she truly didn't go anywhere. We built everything slowly, starting with friendship and gradually becoming more. Song Jiayu didn't rush, didn't demand. She was simply present, steady and gentle, while I relearned how to trust someone, giving them my time, my thoughts, and my space. 1 year after the divorce, the complex project I designed was nearing completion. I stood in the construction site, wearing a hard hat, looking up at the steel, glass, and concrete structures taking shape exactly as I had once imagined in my drawings. My phone rang, an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer but pressed accept anyway. "Hello. Chi Boda." The voice that came through was familiar but changed, softer, weaker. "It's me. Lou Ruyan." I didn't hang up, but I didn't say anything either. I know I shouldn't have called. I know you probably don't want to hear my voice again, but I just needed to say one thing. Her voice trembled. I read the article about your project, your design won an award, and I just wanted to say congratulations. You deserve to create something so meaningful. Thank you, I replied briefly. A long silence fell between us, filled with all the things that would never be said again. I'm sorry, she whispered. For everything, for forgetting, for taking you for granted, for not seeing the value of what I had until I lost it. I know nothing can change now. I know you've moved on, I just needed you to hear that. I looked up at the structure in front of me, the symbol of durability taking shape. I understand, Ruyan, I said slowly. Thank you. I hope you are doing well. I hope you found what you were always looking for. I haven't found it, she said softly. And I think perhaps I never will, because what I was looking for, I actually already had, and I destroyed it with my own hands. It wasn't just you, I replied, surprised by my own honesty. I also let that distance grow. I stayed silent when I should have spoken up. A marriage requires two people to build, and it also requires two people to break. Both of us played a part in that. You are too generous, she said, her voice choked. I don't deserve it. It's not about deserving or not. It's just the truth. I paused for a moment and added, I'm seeing someone. Song Jiayu, I said. She's very good, we're taking it slow. That's good, I'm happy for you. She said, her voice cracking slightly. You deserve something good. You deserve to be happier than what I ever gave you. We all deserve better than the worst version of ourselves, I replied. But that chapter is closed now. We are two different books being written in two different libraries now. She let out a soft laugh, a laugh that was both sad and gentle. You're still the same, aren't you? Always using architectural metaphors. Some things never change. I responded, looking up at the construction workers walking on the steel beams high above my head. Take care, Ruyan. You too, Chi Boda. Anyway, for me, you were still the best thing that ever happened. I just realized it too late. The line went dead. I stood silently for a few minutes, the phone still pressed to my ear, feeling something settle down, not exactly closure, but acceptance. Our story had truly ended, and both of us were still here, still alive, still continuing to build new things from the old ruins. I called Song Jiayu. Are you free tonight? I'm always free for you. What's up? Nothing special. I just want to hear your voice, maybe take you out to dinner. Malolu, she teased, as I had once told her about the restaurant and the memories tied to it. I smiled. Yeah, I think it's time to make new memories there. 7 p.m. then. I hung up, turning to look at the building in front of me, my design. My promise had now materialized in real steel and glass. The sun was setting, its golden light shining on the unfinished frame, bathing it in a mix of gold and shadow. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something close to peace. 2 years after the divorce, I saw them again, Lu Ruyan and Yitengcheng. I was having lunch with Song Jiayu at an outdoor cafe, talking about our upcoming weekend trip when they walked past on the other side of the street. Lu Ruyan looked thinner than before, harder, as if life had eroded all the softness from her features. Yitengcheng walked slightly ahead of her, looking at his phone, not noticing when she subtly reached out, intending to take his hand, then quickly withdrew it when he unintentionally stepped further away. They looked like two strangers sharing the same space, but there was no laughter, no spontaneity, just two people acting out the old habit of an exhausted relationship. Song Jiayu noticed my gaze and quietly asked, Is that her? Yeah. And the man is Yitengcheng. Do you want to leave? I shook my head. No, I'm exactly where I want to be. And I truly was. The building I designed won an architectural award. The company officially promoted me to partner. Song Jiayu and I moved in together in a new house we bought. She loved the original hardwood floors, and I loved the idea of redesigning the kitchen our own way. We were building something together, brick by brick, detail by detail, carefully and surely. A few months later, I heard through architectural circles that Yitengcheng's company had gone bankrupt. Poor investments, terrible management. The collapse was inevitable when a structure is built on ego instead of foundation. He was forced to sell the modern house in the West Side, and word was, he was now working for a regular company, in a vague position where people are submerged and no one cares. Lu Ruyan tried to return to her old marketing firm, but that video from that year remained a stain. In an industry that thrives on image and reputation, being known as the wife who forgot her anniversary for a client's promotion party was a mark that could never be erased. She eventually found a new job at a smaller, less reputable company, and her career path was no longer brilliant. I knew all of this not because I sought the information or followed them, but merely through random snippets of conversation floating through my professional network. The kind of news that spread slowly, indifferently. And when I heard it, I felt neither happy nor sad, only distant. They were now just characters in a story I had once lived through but left long ago. 3 years after the divorce, I proposed to Song Jiayu in our kitchen while we were cooking. It wasn't elaborate, just the two of us and a ring that I had designed myself, with the precision of an architect and the finesse of a jeweler. She said yes while still holding the small wooden spoon, tomato sauce dripping onto the floor. Both of us laughed and cried, holding each other in the house we had built together. The wedding was simple, only family and a few close friends, held at a vineyard outside the city. No glamour, no pressure, just joy and appreciation. One evening before the wedding, we sat on the porch, writing our vows together and reading them aloud to each other to be clear about what we were promising. I promise to choose you every day, Song Jiayu said, her voice light as the wind, especially on the hard days, when life is busy, messy, or mundane. I promise to always remember that you are the reason I am here. I looked at her and said, I promise to build with you not just houses or furniture, but a life. A life with a solid foundation, with room to grow, with beauty in every detail. I promise to always remember that loving you is the greatest creation I have ever made. On our wedding day, as we exchanged rings and kissed amidst the cheers of our friends, I felt something I thought I had lost forever, the absolute certainty that I was exactly where I was supposed to be, with the right person. We went on our honeymoon to Italy, spending 2 weeks just eating pasta, drinking wine, and wandering through architectural wonders that had endured for centuries. In Rome. When we stood under the dome of the Pantheon, Song Jiayu held my hand, smiling, and said, "This is what you do, you create things that last." "That's what I hope," I replied. "No, Chi Boda, you already have. You created us, and we will last." 5 years after the divorce, my phone rang during a project meeting. An unfamiliar number. I intended to decline but answered during the break. "Hello. Chi Boda, it's me. Lu Ruyan." Her voice was different, empty, tired. "I know I shouldn't call. I have no right to anymore. But I'm in the city for a conference. Could you meet me for a little while? Just coffee, please." I should have said no. I should have maintained the distance I had struggled so hard to create. I still felt pain, but perhaps out of curiosity, or maybe compassion, I agreed to meet her the next day, at 2 p.m. at a cafe on 2 Street. Thank you so much," she said over the phone, her voice shaky. When I arrived, Lu Ruyan was already sitting there, at a small table in the corner, with a glass of coffee in front of her, almost untouched. She looked older than the 5 years that had passed, tired, thin, and there was something in her eyes, as if time had taken away all her remaining gentleness. When she saw me, she stood up awkwardly, as if unsure whether to hug or just offer a casual greeting. "Hello," she said softly. "Hello." We sat down. A long silence passed, and finally, she spoke. "You look great, happy too. I saw your wedding photos with Song Jiayu. They are beautiful. You too look happy. It looks like what we should have had." I didn't know how to respond to that, so I just remained silent. "I'm sorry," she continued. Her voice was hoarse. "For calling, for bothering you. I've been in therapy for a long time. My doctor said I should try to make amends with the people I hurt. I know I said sorry before, but back then, I didn't truly understand what I was apologizing for. Now I do. You didn't just forget an anniversary, you forgot me, forgot that you once chose me, that I also chose you, that both of us had promised to build something enduring, yet you treated it like something disposable. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but this time she didn't try to hide them. After the divorce, Cheng and I dated for 8 months, and it was awful. He treated me exactly the way I once treated you, only interested when he wanted, and for most of the time, I was invisible. When I spoke up, when I demanded attention, presence, do you know what he said? I remained silent, waiting. He said, "Don't be so demanding, everyone is busy. That's what real love is like." She choked back a sob. And I realized that's exactly what I used to tell you. When you told me you felt abandoned, I called you over-needy. I dismissed your feelings, making you feel like wanting your wife to remember your anniversary was selfish. Now she was sobbing uncontrollably, not bothering to wipe her tears. Then Cheng left me for another girl, younger, more admiring of him. And that's when I truly understood the feeling you once endured. I finally felt what you felt. "I'm sorry you had to go through that," I said, and I sincerely meant it. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because I understood that sometimes only pain can teach people the lessons that nothing else can. "I don't need your pity," she said softly. "I just want you to know that now I understand. I am truly sorry. You deserve to be loved more than what I ever gave. And I'm happy you found that." She took an envelope out of her handbag. "This is for you." "What is it?" I asked. "The letter you wrote me on our anniversary," she replied, her eyes still downcast. "I never opened it. I couldn't at the time, but I kept it. I thought maybe you would want it back, or maybe you wanted to know if I had ever read it." I took the envelope, turning it over in my hand. The seal was still intact, unopened. 5 years had passed, and she had never read the words I wrote, words about love, about the desire to build a life together, about gratitude for having her. "You really never opened it?" I asked. "I couldn't," she whispered. "I couldn't face it, knowing I had thrown everything away. I could have opened it right there, read it aloud, forced her to listen to the words she refused to hear that night. But for what purpose? "Keep it," I said, pushing the envelope back toward her. "Or throw it away. I don't need it anymore. The man who wrote those words no longer exists. I've become someone else, better. And I have Song Jiayu to thank for that. And you, in a way, too. Because you taught me exactly what I will never accept again, never lower myself for again." She offered a small smile through her tears. "Song Jiayu is very lucky." "I'm the lucky one," I replied. "We are both lucky because we choose to stay together every single day." Lu Ruyan nodded, wiping her tears. "I won't contact you again. I just needed to say this. I just wanted to try and find some peace for myself, for what I did." "Then consider it said," I replied, my voice gentle. "And consider that there is peace between us." "I don't hate you, Lu Ruyan," I continued. "Perhaps I never truly hated you. I was just hurt, disappointed, and broken. But not anymore. I'm just grateful that both of us survived it and are still moving forward." We spoke for a few more minutes, only about superficial things. She said she had started over in a new city, dating someone, a gentle, unhurried relationship. She said she was trying to find herself again, separate from the accolades and achievements that once defined her. I told her about my work, about Song Jiayu's furniture restoration studio, about the life we were building together, stable, authentic, and a deliberate choice. When we parted, there was no hug, no dramatic farewell, just a nod, a quiet acknowledgement of who we once were and who we had become. I watched her figure recede down the street, getting smaller, then turning a corner and disappearing. I felt no pain, no lingering regret, only a quiet gratitude. Gratitude that some chapters of a story conclude so completely that one can truly begin the next. I returned home, finding Song Jiayu in the workshop, her hands stained with wood oil, carefully restoring an antique table. She looked up when she saw me enter, her eyes quietly reading something on my face. "Are you all right?" she asked. "Yes," I replied. "I saw Lu Ruyan today." She sincerely apologized, and I realized I no longer needed that apology. In fact, I haven't needed it for a long time. Song Jiayu put down her brush, walked over and hugged me, leaving smudged handprints on my shirt. I didn't mind. I'm proud of you, she said softly. Proud of what? I asked. That you were strong enough to sit and face the past, she replied, and calm enough to stand up without letting it hold you back. That evening, we cooked dinner together. We moved around the kitchen like a well-rehearsed dance, one hand passing to the other, everything natural and harmonious. She sang along to the music playing, slightly off-key and out of tune, and I laughed and sang with her. After dinner, we sat on the back porch, watching the sunset paint the small backyard in soft, amber hues. Song Jiayu rested her head on my shoulder, and I wrapped my arm around her waist. I forgot to tell you, she whispered. I got a huge order today, a furniture collection from a real estate auction. They said they were very impressed with the Victorian-style cabinet I restored last month. That's wonderful, I said, smiling. Congratulations. Thank you. We should celebrate. How about Malulu this weekend? I suggested. Perfect. You make the reservation. She paused for a moment and then said, You know what I love most about us? What is it? I asked. That every day is deliberate, she said softly, taking my hand. It's like we always choose this, not just letting inertia or obligation guide us, but truly building everything together. Every meal, every conversation, every moment is intentional. I kissed the top of her head, inhaling the familiar scent of wood and shampoo, feeling her body nestled close to mine, warm and real. That's right, I said softly, because all of it is a choice. Not grand gestures, not perfect moments. Just the act of me choosing you every day and you choosing me. That's all it is, but everything else falls into place because of it. I will never forget, she whispered. I promise I will never forget your birthday, our anniversary, or any day that is important to you, because they all matter, every single day. I know, I said, and I truly knew. Because she proved it every day, in small actions and big ones. Because I had learned that love is not just about the grand promises spoken at the wedding, but about the small promises kept faithfully every day after. It's the choice to be present, to remember, and to cherish what two people have built together. We sat there as the sky gradually darkened, and the stars appeared one by one. I thought about all the ways life can break people and also cause them to be reborn. Thought about how sometimes the worst ending opens up the best beginning. I recalled the moment years ago when I walked into the bakery to order the anniversary cake for the wife who had forgotten its existence. A moment of cruel pain, yet it was that very moment that led me here, to this porch, to this woman, to this life. A life built on a foundation sturdy enough to last forever. She, who once forgot our anniversary and chose to celebrate with someone else, that name, I barely remember it now on the most important days. Because I am too busy, celebrating with the one who has never forgotten that I am a person worth remembering. The story was produced at Tom Story Time. Please subscribe to my channel to support me.